From the court to the classroom, from the block to the boardroom, this is the Michael Graham Show, where real talk meets real life. Join Michael Graham as he breaks down the big issues: youth development, community programs, housing, jobs, and the challenges that shape us all. Loud, funny, real. The voices of experience from athletes, educators, advocates, and everyday warriors are all right here. This is where community comes to talk. This is the Michael Graham Show. From the court to the classroom, from the block, from the court to the class.
Yeah, I got stuck. Good evening, folks. Good evening to everybody out there on Facebook, YouTube. Welcome to the Michael Graham Show. Glad to have you on. Tonight, we got a very, very hell of a lineup. We're stepping into the fire, Georgetown, Syracuse, the rivalry that built the Big East and changed college basketball. Tonight, I got my sidekick, my co-host. He's the author of The Other Side of the Hoop, the European Experience. He's a professional European great. Also, he's a financial literacy teacher. Bobby P. Kinzer. Where you at, baby?
I'm right there, Mike. What's happening? MGM Graham.
Hey, what's happening, baby? How you doing, man?
Ain't nothing shaking but the leaves on the tree and the breeze feel good to me. That's what I'm talking about. Look, I'm fired up.
That gets me, man. I love that.
We got some legends on
here we do.
Today. But what makes it even better?
We do.
But what makes it even better, Mike, is the Georgetown versus Syracuse segment. And it's going to get nice and heated because we want to hear all the juice, because they say, you know, the people who really started the Big East, well, I'm not going to get into that. I'm going to let them do that. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start off first by introducing the first player, one of Washington, D.C.'s finest, by the way. This young man got drafted, went to Georgetown University. Let me say that first. What's that? 81 to 85, which was some great years, by the way. Went drafted by the Indiana Pacers, went to the Knicks, and played with the Phoenix Suns. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the consummate Mr. Billy Martin. The real Billy Martin. The original Billy Martin. Hey, Billy, how you doing, man?
Introduction, man.
Thank you. What's up, Bill?
What's up, Mike? How
Bill
you doing,
in the house. So we're going to do this. You're not going to make it all about Georgetown because, you know, you the Georgetown. What was y'all nicknames? The Bulldogs? What the hell were y'all?
Hoyas.
Hoyas. Oh, which was a dog with a...
Hoya paranoia was a thing.
Hoya paranoia.
It was
real. For real. Okay, so next we're going to give some credit to New York in the house, Syracuse finest. Ladies and gentlemen, this gentleman played from 81 to 85, and I guess that means he played against Pat and them too. He's out of the big city of Binghamton, New York. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the wonderful Syracuse Orangeman finest, Sonny Spera. Hey, Sonny.
Hey.
How you doing, fellas?
What's up, Sonny?
How you doing? I brought some shoulder pads and elbow pads. I'm ready to go.
You ready to go?
Don't forget your mouthpiece. Don't forget your mouthpiece.
I got my mouth guard. I'm ready to go.
Hey, Sonny, who's that behind you? What team is that?
That's my senior year. That's 84,
yeah,
85.
I know that, but what year? 80, that's 83?
84, 85.
All right, we're going to have to ask you about who's back in there. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, this is a DMV superstar, Churchill High School out of Virginia. This guy
That's Maryland,
two-way
Bob.
player, two-way player, football and basketball. So that makes him both a sadist and a masochist. No, just joking. But ladies and gentlemen, Georgetown's finest and Eric Smith. What's up, E?
Hey. What's up, Smitty?
Hey, good evening.
What's up, big brother?
Everyone,
Hey,
good evening.
that's the thing about Eric. Eric has always been
What's up, baby
unassuming,
bro?
smooth, cooler than the other side of the pillow. Yes, he has. Yes, thank you very much, Eric. Okay, next up,
What's up, dude?
Oh man, my screen.
Smitty, it's so good to see you, man. It really
Man,
is.
So good to see you.
Okay, we have.
I haven't seen Sonny in a long time.
Sonny in the house.
Been a couple
Okay,
weeks.
next up.
I haven't seen Sonny in a long time.
Next up, this is another Syracuse finest. And believe it or not, y'all might not know this, but he is one of the Great Britain's finest. He played in England. And actually, those elbows, and I always know this guy is a strong man and had a strong game from Syracuse. Another orange man. Let's hear it for Tony Red Bruin. What's up, Tony?
What's up, Red?
Tony in the house.
Tony
So,
Spera.
how you doing, man?
So we got one, two. We got one.
We got one more, and this man is it
What's
right
up?
here.
Tony Red.
We got one more.
Once again, Syracuse finest. Look, and I don't know what y'all did up in that cold ass snowy place.
Wow.
It would be freezing. I went to Penn State and we played y'all every year, but it was all good. And wait a minute, he disappeared on us, y'all. He dropped off.
No, he didn't.
Have issues.
Yes, he did.
Yes, he did. He dropped off. We get him back. So I'm not going to say,
Okay.
but ladies and gentlemen, oh, here you go. He's
There you
back.
go.
He's back. He's back.
There you go.
He's IT literate, ladies and gentlemen, Leo Rautins.
What's happening, everybody?
Leo.
Hey, Leo.
Hey, this is pretty wild being on here with all these Hoyas.
That is so
Oh,
true,
man.
man. No, this is very special.
And we're not sweating.
Yeah.
No
Hey,
elbows,
look
no
here.
sweat.
Look
And
here,
we're not sweating, we're not fighting.
we're supposed to have two more on here. Gene couldn't make it tonight because he has other engagements and Spriggs. I don't know where the big fella at, but yeah, if he come on, we got him. Okay, so let's get this thing going.
We're just getting off. He got to use his phone. He's going to try to use his phone on the way home. But
knowing old as Ed, he definitely probably got a what do you call that? The cricket. But ladies and gentlemen, let's get this thing starting off. So it's the Big East. Everybody knows about the rival of Syracuse and Georgetown, especially in this time frame, y'all, in the 80s. I mean, that's what basketball. They actually call that the golden years of college basketball because remember there wasn't no Big East at one time, right? Georgetown was playing independent, and I think was Syracuse in the league, by the way, y'all, before the Big East.
They were independent too.
They were. That's what I thought.
Yeah, we were independent.
They were independent too.
We
And
weren't
like I said,
independent. We were on the ECAC.
Yes,
Yeah,
right.
okay.
That's it. EC. I knew it was enough, right? So and we played y'all at Penn State, Syracuse, man, and there was some wonderful players come out of Syracuse, man. Well, I want to start it off, Mike. You want to start it off, or no? You want me to start it off with the
Yeah, you
question?
go ahead and start off, B.
Yeah. Okay. So what? And I'll start off, and I'll start off with Billy, right? Billy, what is your first thoughts of the rival between? What's your thoughts on Georgetown versus Syracuse?
The rivalry started way before I even got there. They helped open up, it's the Carrier Dome. And I think that was during your time, wasn't it, Eric? The first, championship game I think you guys played against Syracuse. And
let me tell you how it started. I'll tell you how it started. My sophomore year, we played them. Well, Sonny, don't turn your head, and Tony was probably there. We played them at Manley Fieldhouse.
Manly
Fieldhouse. Yes.
Fieldhouse. That's what I was trying to think of.
7-game winning streak or something like that, and
having trouble with the audio right now.
We upset.
It was a 55-game winning streak.
I'm having trouble hearing you.
Sorry. We upset them actually 52-50, and it closed down. And Thompson said them famous word, Manley Fieldhouse is finally closed, and that's when the rivalry started.
That's what I remember.
And then we ended up playing.
I think he said Manley Fieldhouse is officially closed.
What did you say, Tony?
He said officially closed.
I said I think Big John said Manley Fieldhouse is now officially closed or something like that.
Yeah, that's what he said.
That's
what said it all.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what?
That's what said it all.
Okay, and this just to Leo. Leo, what was the culture shock stepping into those early Georgetown battles? Because see, you were the first one that started battling those guys back then. I mean, y'all was independent then, but it seemed like an East Coast rivalry always between Georgetown and Syracuse.
Oh, it was crazy. So my first year playing was actually first year of the Big East because I redshirted when you guys closed up Manley Fieldhouse. That was my redshirt year.
What year was that? What year was that, Leo?
That was 78, 79.
Right.
Okay.
And so I remember and I'm sitting there going, man, it's like, this is crazy, right? But just watching this whole thing was crazy. And then my first year, so
I think that was 79-80, Leo.
Yeah, well, 79. Yeah, you're right. You're right. 79-80. And then 80-81, we hosted the Big East Championship in Syracuse.
Okay.
So, and we won the Big East Championship, played you guys in the semifinals. Right. But it was crazy. Like every time we played against you guys, it was a brawl. It was a fight. Everybody's talking all kinds of stuff. And it was great. I mean, that's what I loved about it. I mean, every time you stepped on the court, it was just, you knew it was war. And it was fantastic.
Okay. And also, this needs to be known too. You were the first Canadian ever drafted in the NBA?
First in the first round.
First in the first round. Okay. Wow. That's impressive.
Who was that by, Leo?
What's that? I was
76ers.
drafted by 76.
Philadelphia. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because the boy from Phoenix, isn't he from Canada? The point guard.
Point guard. You talking about Nash?
Yes.
No, I don't know.
He's a Canadian. He's one of our. Hey, we
Tony.
don't have a lot of Canadians back then, but we got MVPs back then.
That's true. That's true. Hey, quick question, Leo.
Now,
Quick question, Leo. Did they really have, the Royal Mounties and the dog, the Saint Bernard with the thing? Is that real true, or is that just a myth or legend, man?
No, it's a lot of what you hear is legend, but it's there's the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, right? And they wear the uniforms and all that, but that's not like the regular police. That's not like anything like that. But and I think the United States and other countries had a lot of fun with that, kind of like Dudley Do-Right type of joking around, right? But the RCMP is actually a police body. Yeah, it's a real thing.
Okay, thank you. I just thought it was the Dudley Do-Right myth. Okay, thank you very much.
Hey, son.
Yo,
You know what? You were known for hustle. What was the hardest part about playing against Georgetown physical style?
the hardest part about playing against you guys was the physicality, and you never went anywhere without a bump, right? And let's face it, you had Patrick at the end of the defense, right? So he was pretty much a game changer, right? So if we could get you in transition, because we like to press and we like to run a little bit too, we felt better. But when it was a slow down half court, it was going to be a little tougher because it was the lane got smaller and the elbows got bigger, right?
Yeah. Okay. Billy.
Yeah.
You know, you had one of the smoothest games in the Big East, man. What part of the game do you think the people underrated? of your game?
Well, I was a role player. Pat, David, Reggie, Michael, Jackson. They were the scores. They offensively. I just took what came to me. I wasn't a great one-on-one player. They'd get me the ball in spots where they knew I could, mostly along the baseline and off the break. But defensively, they would move me all around. I'd guard, fours, threes, twos, and in the Big East, that was like a murderer's row. It was because all the best athletes were 2, 3, in the Big East. Just any number of names I can go down the list. At Syracuse you had you had Raphael and then Wendell that we had to chase all the time. They had Shelton and cut the other guys. Just a long list of names. And so defensively was where I got my playing time. If I was able to get out there and beat somebody up and throw them off their game a little bit, and then in the process get a few shots, then I did my job.
So Billy, this is what's interesting about you, right? Like you said you were more like a role player, right?
Yeah.
But you're the most unsung individual, especially to come out of DC. We got so many, ball players that came out of DC. You all, Kermit Washington, Kenny Carr. Adrian Dantley, Dave Bing. But so when you were drafted, you said you were like, a role player. So were you shocked or did you know you were going to get drafted?
Well, I thought I might get drafted, but I didn't know where. And so I, when it happened, I was pretty excited like you might expect. But, I was working at camp at the time, and one of the coaches leaned over and, Bill, you got drafted. I'm like, oh, great. And then I went back to helping the kids at the camp. And,
wow. So were you a second round draft pick?
Yeah, I was the second player chosen in the second round.
Wow, that's big time. That's big time.
Yeah, but you know something? I remember when I was being recruited, and I think I was in the 8th or 9th grade. And I remember this guy named Kennedy. And Billy coming up to my school, and Billy was this guy, man, and I'm looking up, and he was like huge with these huge hands, and he was a Lynn Bias type, his body and everything. And that's what freaked me out, man. And I'm like, I ain't know if I wanted to go there, man.
Hey, I wanted to talk to the Syracuse teammates for a minute, man.
Okay.
Syracuse have some amazing players that has come out of that school. So I go back. So I came out in '75. So we played against Syracuse when they had this guy named Jimmy the Bug Williams, point guard, who was phenomenal, who was also had a brother named Ricky Williams that was the beast too, by the way. I don't know if y'all knew about Ricky Williams, but then they had Roosevelt Bowie, Shackelford, what are some of the other great players that came out of there?
Dennis Duval.
Dennis Duval, the guard.
Was like Marty Burns and
Marty Burns.
Louis Orr was a good player.
Louis Orr. What's Marty Burns? Wasn't Marty Burns?
Marty Burns has a ring. He was with the Lakers and got a ring.
Oh, okay.
That I didn't know.
Huh.
I mean, there's names that go on. Marty Head, I played against him in England, but it was so many. So, Bill, let me start with you, man. Who you think was the best player to come out of Syracuse? Ever come out of Syracuse?
Did you ask me?
Yeah, I'm asking you first, Bill.
You know what? I'd sit there and Dave Bing was regarded, I think, by pretty much everybody as the greatest player to come out of Syracuse, and he had an unbelievable career in the NBA. And when you talk about starting, really taking a program somewhere, I think he was the beginning of the Syracuse program that we all know. So I give props to Dave Bing.
Okay.
So
I-
Eric and Billy, who's the best player you think that ever come out of Georgetown? If you had to pick one.
You asking me?
Either Billy or Eric. Yeah. I'm gonna ask both because you might have two different people. So you first, Billy.
Patrick Ewing.
Yeah.
Patrick Ewing.
You was going to say Allen Iverson?
Patrick.
I heard it in stereo.
Patrick Ewing.
Stereo.
How many rings did Allen get at Georgetown?
Yeah,
y'all need to put a couple of Bobby. Y'all need to put a couple of votes in there for Sleepy, man. Sleepy was
that's what I was thinking. I was
Thank
thinking
you,
the same
Tony.
thing too.
Don't be sleeping on Sleepy.
Yeah, one of the smoothest strokes ever. That guy could shoot.
He was very good.
Yeah.
Hey, Eric,
Played with him for 4 years. He was the best shooter.
Right. You were a steady hand when you was playing at Georgetown. What leadership looked like that? What did it look like inside the locker room of the Warriors when you were playing? Eric Smith.
What did it look like in the locker room?
Yeah, what was the leadership like? You know,
what it looked like in the locker room?
Who's the leader?
Yeah, was Freddie in your locker room? Mike know what I'm talking
about. I remember Freddie. He went back to Freddie.
We had a lot of images. You guys knew we had a lot of fun in our locker room.
Okay, but I just wanted to know what was the leadership like. Mm-hmm.
The leadership was Ed Spriggs and myself.
No offense, but I don't know how Billy felt, but I was scared because it was tense. Ain't nobody said nothing. Everybody just looked around.
Ed Spriggs and myself was the leadership.
Yeah,
hey, Big Mike, you want to know when I knew that Hoya paranoia was real? So y'all had this freshman, Freddie Brown from New York. And I used to play with him uptown all the time, up in Harlem, all of the tournaments and everything. Sometimes I'd go up there just to watch him play. So you guys had came to the Dome, and some of you guys was walking in through the hall, and I see Freddie, and I'm like, yo, Fred, what's up? And he kind of looked at Big John and then looked at me, and then he didn't say shit. Like he couldn't even talk to me. I'm like, and that's when I knew this shit is real, man. Fred looked at me like he didn't even know me, like he was scared, like he saw a ghost, couldn't speak to me. And that's when I knew, hey, you know, this Georgetown Syracuse thing is real.
Tony, speaking about that, let me ask you something, man. How was it playing with Boeheim? How was Boeheim as a coach?
Boeheim, me and Coach had kind of a special connection because, I mean, I was recruited by a lot of coaches, but I got to tell you, no coach had seen more of my games than Boeheim. He just outworked everybody, man. I mean, I would have some games where I was terrible. I probably wouldn't have came back to recruit myself. And Boeheim was right there at the next game, you know, at some of my greatest games. And that's what made me really feel comfortable with him. He was somebody that you could really go in there and talk to. He looked like a professor, but Boeheim was really cool. You could really chop it up with Boeheim, and he knew about a lot of things, man. He's not like how he first appears to you, you know, and that's kind of the connection that we had, you know.
Leo, did Boeheim recruit you?
Yeah, actually, he recruited me 3 times.
What do you mean?
I came down to Syracuse, Minnesota. I went to Minnesota my freshman year, played with Kevin McHale. I transferred from Minnesota, and before I was down to Syracuse and a couple of schools. I actually signed with Marshall, believe it or not, West Virginia.
Marshall.
Yeah, and because after transfer, I'm going, hey, it's gonna be my program. It's gonna be me. And then the coach passed away 2 weeks after I signed. And so guess what? Jim Boeheim, he was still there. He was knocking on my door, and he's going, you coming or not, right? So it's amazing that he still hung in there and didn't tell me to get lost after all that time. So and Jimmy was cool. He was a hard guy to get his respect, right? Once you got his respect, and not a lot of other programs, you know, you're always looking over your shoulder, like who's coming. Mm-hmm. With him, once you got his respect, you had your job. You were playing. It was fun to play. And practices were fun. We got up and down the floor. We ran. I really enjoyed it.
Hey, Leo, if you went to Minnesota, you would have been playing with Michael Thompson, Ray Williams, Flip Saunders.
No. What happened was they were right before me. So I watched them play. That's one of the reasons I like the program. And then when I got there, we had Kevin McHale, and we had the best freshman class in the country. So Trent Tucker was part of my freshman class.
Right.
And yeah, Trent Tucker was there, and the super agent Bill Duffy, he was there. And it was a very talented young team. But Kevin, and I'll tell you what, I saw Kevin play, and I said, dude, if this guy's not an NBA stud, I don't know what is, but because he was an amazing player. So it was an interesting time going there. And the Big Ten at that time was pre-Big East going crazy, right? So you had Magic Johnson, you had Ronnie Lester at Iowa, every program, Mike McGee at Michigan. You had Big Ten was rocking at the time.
At the time. Sonny, what's your take on Boeheim?
Well, I think these guys nailed it. He's a tough guy to kind of, you can't figure him out. I don't think it's worth trying to figure him out. But I think he's as loyal as the day is long, and I think Leo alluded to that. I think that's one thing, almost to a fault at Syracuse, right? Like he never got paid what he should have got paid. He always just went along because he was never leaving. He's loyal to that university, loyal to that city, still to this day. Like he'll never retire anywhere but Syracuse. So for me, it was like, okay, I was a skinny 6'5" kid. He was a skinny 6'5" kid. I was a little more of a point guard. He was a little more of a shooter. So we had some commonalities. I found it harder to kind of talk to him at different times because we just had different communication styles. But I respected him, and I will say that, like Red and Leo said, worked very hard, and he did not take to losing one iota.
Yeah, he was a tireless worker, man.
Yeah.
Can I tell you something?
He wouldn't talk for a week or something. He just was so wrapped up in trying to win. You talk about someone all in, he was all in.
Go ahead,
So when we were coaching, like, you know, Jimmy would just sit there. He's got his hands like this. He's going, yeah, we really want you, you know, like nothing. He's not kissing your rear end like everybody else does, right? And when you get there, it's the same thing. So that's why he recruited me. I'm going, does this guy like me? Like, I don't know. And then he recruited my son, right? So my son ended up playing for him, but we're in the office. He's recruiting my son. And I'm looking at him and go, he's sitting there, yeah, we really think you can play here. And I'm going, that's the same bullshit you said to me. Nothing's changed.
So you know, we got to ask, how was it playing for John Thompson? I just can imagine, because being on the outside looking in, the optics, there's so many mixed emotions when people talk about John Thompson. Please tell me why, you all. Eric?
Wait. With Coach Thompson is he was actually a little baby, but you just had to listen to what he was saying and not how he said it, because he would, you know, do all the curse words. Billy knows he calls us everything but a child of God, right, Billy?
Yeah, he never lied.
But he was pretty smart about the way he ran his program. I know it was Hoya Paranoia. I know we was in championship game. We stayed in Biloxi, Mississippi. Man, by the time we got, you know, you had to take a good nap. It's like, you know how when kids ride in the car, they fall asleep. Well, that's what we were, little kids. So we had to get there and wake ourselves up by throwing cold water on our face and stuff like that.
In Biloxi, Mississippi.
I wanted to tell about Tony Bruin, man. This man, yeah. But Tony Bruin made me jump out the gym. And when I played against him, I was never gonna let that man dunk on me. I don't care if I scratched him, held him, did whatever I can, but he wasn't going up over me.
Yeah, I can say this now, Eric. You were definitely one of the most toughest defensive guys that I played against. I mean, you was all in on defense. I didn't look forward to playing against Georgetown, knowing I had to go against you defensively. Yeah, it seemed like that's all you wanted to do was play defense. I mean, you was all about it. So that's a compliment.
You had all those other scores. So,
yeah. And you took real great pride in your defense. I knew I was in for a long game when we played Georgetown.
Man, you know, y'all
yeah,
two
you gonna
killing me,
get
man. Y'all both trying to kill each other.
I was gonna hold you, bro. You wasn't gonna hold me.
Hey, this is for all of y'all. All right, let's mix it up a little
Mike,
bit.
Mike, hold on, Mike, hold on for a minute. I'm sorry, Mike.
Huh?
I gotta hear from Billy about Coach.
Well, you know, when I went to Georgetown, John, you know, was like to me an icon because you know, when you look at TV, he was, you know, his program and the people in his program were so different from other schools. You know, these guys were always in suit and tie. You know, you hear them speak; they were always very articulate. And you know, I was kind of wild in high school, and thought that if I went to Georgetown, you know, I could add some discipline to my game. I thought I needed to add some discipline, and you know, I had no idea when I got there how tough it would be. I thought it would be tough, but it wasn't just that his practices were hard, and he practiced all the time. But you know, the level of talent there, and the level of talent that came in every year. So you were never guaranteed anything at Georgetown. You were never guaranteed a starting job or minutes or any of that. You know, everything had to be earned every day in practice. So it was a grind, and I loved it. And I don't think any manager or coach since then has ever gotten more out of me. John had a way of pushing people's buttons to get a little bit more out of them, but he didn't just do it to players. He did it to coaches. He did it to everybody around him. He even did it to the media. You know, he knew which buttons to push to get a little bit more out of people. And I remember him explaining to me one time, you know, how if you were running into, you know, up a hill and you ran as hard and as far as you could, and then somebody stood behind you when you got so tired that you couldn't go anymore, and they cracked that whip, you'd go a little bit farther. And so sometimes, you know, that's what it felt like. You know, you'd hit a wall, and he'd ask for a little bit more and push you a little bit harder. And I always respected him for that. And I loved playing for John. It was just a great experience. It wasn't just him, but it was his program. It was the people that came before me, people like Eric and Spriggs and you know, these guys. When I got there, none of us started. Pat didn't even start his first game. You know, all those guys, they had just come off of making the Final Eight a year or so before that. You know, they were seniors. They had earned the right. We weren't coming in there and taking over the program. And, you know, and we had to come off the bench. You know, obviously Pat eventually, you know, started after the first or second, you know, game or something like that. But he didn't start his first game. He had to come off the bench. And but John would be that to his seniors. He'd give give you once you've earned his respect. What they just said about Boeheim was also true about John. Once you earned his respect, you know, things were different. And a perfect example of that, my junior year, I thought the man hated me. I mean, he was on my ass. I mean, I thought he hated me. My senior year, never said a word to me. I could have done anything I wanted. He never said a word to me. Just all of a sudden pulled back the reins and let me go. And then when he talked to me more as a man and not so much as a player. He started talking to me about my future and what was happening next. And, you know, he was a teacher. At heart, he was a teacher. And he knew how to get more out of his students. And that was his gift. At least that's what I thought. But I love playing with John.
Go ahead, Mike. I'm sorry. Cut you off. Go ahead, Mike.
Oh, no, I just said that we got Ed Spriggs, former Georgetown player. I'm trying to get him on. I don't have a picture, but I know he's on here. I don't know.
He's trying to get on, but he's struggling.
You hear us, Ed?
No, he's not. He's not even connected, Mike.
Okay.
He's another one of those technological challenges.
Hey, man. Hey, I'm an old guy, man. I don't know how to work this stuff, man.
It
My
ain't you.
11-year-old
It's not you. It's him.
It's
not you. It's him. So, hey, so fellas, until Ed get on, I love to see Ed. We go back like a mug. We're gonna do a round about Do you feel? No, let me go with this. Let me take this approach. How much money do you think you've been able to make in NIL? How y'all gonna take that? Take that any way you want to make it. Tony, what do you feel about NIL?
Well,
I don't even want to talk.
I guess I gotta say, you know,
Don't even want to talk.
It seems like now it's not under the table anymore.
Right.
It's not
No
under
more
the table
bags.
no more.
It's reported. This is reported income, Jeff.
Exactly. But I think this should have been done. You want to know what, Bobby, though? The NCAA did this to themselves because I can't speak for everybody, but speaking for myself and the people that I know, we weren't asking for no six-figure type of money. We just wanted money where, you know, you could put some gas in your car and take a girl on a date. And yeah, you know, we wanted some stipend money, but NCAA didn't want to give you nothing. You know, they totally didn't want to give. I mean, you had people getting in trouble for taking us to dinner and stuff like that. You know, how long was that going to last? And we was the product. You know what I mean? So they kind of did it. We fought and fought. There should have been some type of stipend to the players if they make, especially when all of that TV money started coming in. There's no way you can justify that the players are not getting anything. You know, that the way you had to try to get money, you know, and boosters slipping you this and that. You know, it should have never got to that point. Especially when like Leo was saying earlier, you know, with the Big Ten and the Big East and the ACC and the type of TV ratings that we're getting and the type of contracts that they were handing out. And you're supposed to call home and ask your mom, can you get some money to take a girl out on a date? Come on, that's crazy. You know?
But the genie's out the bottle now. I don't know how to go. It's just it's so unregulated, man.
And
hey, Leo,
I'm not even going to say that I enjoy it. I mean, you know, you can't even, like in the old days, you'd get a favorite team and you'd watch a player at least for 2 years and stuff. I mean, now with the transfer portal and the outbidding each other, the player can go from school to school to school to school, or you could be in a G League and come back and go to college. I'm not even saying I enjoy that, but I'm saying that the NCAA did it to themselves because, I mean, they was just trying to just put, you know, dominate all the money. You know, they didn't want to spread the wealth at all. It's this craziness now.
They come up with a new rule for 2027, you all. They stopped all that going to several different schools. They're making you stay a year longer or something now. You just can't keep what you said, man. But Leo, what do you think about it, man? How much money do you think you'd be able to make it right now if you were playing?
Oh man, you know, it's I remember going on Marshall Street in Syracuse and you'd see T-shirts and your image would be on these T-shirts. Those dudes wouldn't even give you one.
Exactly.
You couldn't even get a T-shirt
talking about Manny's or Jacob.
Both of them, man. And you could put pictures on there, and they're making they wouldn't even give you a freebie, right? So
your picture, your number, they'll give you a discount, but they're not giving it to you free.
Exactly. And so I'm sitting there now. And,
excuse me for 1 minute. I got an over 60 emergency.
Okay.
Yeah, but you know, like when you look at what guys are making now. So let go back to what Tony was saying that. When the Big East was hot, right? The Big East was you had the top media markets, and the Big East took the whole college world by storm. I mean, people today still talk about that Big East, right? So if you just put it in perspective of what it was, we should have all of us been making, you know, 6 figures. Some guys 7 figures. I mean, think of what Patrick Ewing did for Georgetown, right?
Yeah.
Tell me he should have been making 5 a year. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's pretty crazy to think about, you know, and I agree with what Tony said. The NCAA did this to themselves. You know, think of how many you get so many low-income families, and kids can't even go home. Parents can't come see them. What are you going to do? You're going to cheat. You're going to do whatever you can to help a kid out, right? And the rules are so archaic. Where there's one rule. That if it's a snowstorm, say there's a snowstorm in Syracuse and Jim Boeheim's driving his car, do you know that he couldn't pick me up if he saw me unless he picked up every student along the way? Think what kind of rule is that? Do you pick up, if you picked up a friend, would you pick up strangers? No. So anyway, the whole thing is kind of crazy. I think we'd all be pretty happy today though.
So Leo, let me ask you this right quick then, before we go to the next person. So are you for it or against it?
I'm for it if you regulate it better. Right now, it's like just crazy. But coaches make what they want. Coaches bounce from school to school. players should have freedom, a certain amount of freedom, not as much as there is. And like I said, it's got to be more regulated because, you're going to have certain programs that just can't compete at all, period. And that's not good.
Mm-hmm.
Sonny?
Well, I'm going to echo that. If you're going to ask me, first of all, you're going to ask me how much I would have made?
Yes.
I would have made a couple dollars. I would have had a good time. And to their points, though, I think what's happened is because the NCAA lost in court and basically were forced a long time ago, even though they took a while to catch up, to do this, I think they threw it out there and purposefully they let it run like the Wild Wild West. So that now people are going to say, please put in some regulations and help us. So they're they're essentially begging the NCAA to come back in and do some things. And I think that would help it a lot. But I think there should be freedom of movement, just like there is for coaches. I don't think you should have to sit a year when you transfer. I'm not against if you want to make it 2 years or something like that, make it the commitment a little bit more in terms of a contract. Because in all honesty, we only had 1 year. We only had 1 year scholarships. We didn't have 4.
Yeah,
correct.
4 1 year scholarships. So you can imagine they can say, "Listen, I recruited over you. You're not going to have a scholarship again," right? So I think there's a way to fix it that makes sense, but I also think you probably got to set a salary cap because all you've done is you separated the haves and have-nots. So if you got the money, you're going to get the players, and if you don't, you won't. Top 3 teams in the Big East last year: UConn, St. John's, Villanova. Who were the top 3 NIL teams? UConn, St. John's, Villanova. So it's not a mystery,
Yeah, what's his name? Rick Pitino has got some multi-billionaire dude in New York City backing him. I mean, he get anybody that he wants. The money that's backing him.
He flat out said, "Listen, you got a blank check. Go get your guys."
Yeah,
I mean,
it's crazy.
I just wish I was born a little later.
Hey, what Charles Barkley said, got to fire my mom. She gave birth to me too early.
Yeah. What's the thing though? Now the guys keep redoing themselves and putting them back to grade and putting them back to grade.
So remember 2 years ago? Remember 2 years ago in the NCAA championship? Was it NC State? The guy was his 6th year. This is what's happening, you all. There was a 7-year guy. What they're doing, they know that they're not going to get drafted in the NBA. So they purposely are staying back to get the money. The sad part is they're not getting their degree.
But they're also not going to get that kind of money. Some of those dudes are making big bank.
Yes. So
that they're not getting if they get drafted. Sorry.
You see the big, what's one of the
6, 7? I mean, But
one of the big things is international players, right? So think about this. International players always love the idea of coming and playing in these big schools and crazy crowds. They always loved that, but they were all getting paid in Europe, wherever they're coming from. From the time they're 15 years old, they're all getting paid, right? But some guys came over. Now you got a situation where they're making 7 figures here and more than they do on a EuroLeague pro team.
Right.
So now you've completely flipped it. And now you got top European guys want to come over play college ball.
And Leo, the last year's draft, the first 5 players were foreign players. The first 5.
Who are all the last MVPs of the league? They're all foreign players, right? The league's changed.
You know who the big loser is in this though is the typical high school kid. Now these coaches are not even recruiting normal high school kids.
High school kids are getting screwed.
Look here. Look here.
That's what I was going to say, Tony. It's taking all the high school players out. I was just going to tell you what Tony said. It's taking all the high school
or junior college or overseas. They're not even recruiting high school kids anymore. Basically, unless you like a 5-star phenom or something like that. And even then, it ain't a guarantee. They want you to
register for a year. A high school kid, he gets fired because he loses.
Yeah,
you got a 27-year-old freshman.
Yeah,
come on, man.
Wow. Yeah, that's just
Yeah, I have nothing against it. I just wish we could have made something back then. But I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah. Matter of fact, the team that just won the NCAA, wasn't it? Didn't they do it with all transfers or something like that?
All transfers.
Yeah, it was all transfers.
All transfers.
Wow.
Crazy.
Wow, that's
You got
crazy.
money,
I
you're
didn't
gonna
know
win. That's all it is.
Hey, so
Yeah.
help me understand this, you all. As far as your backgrounds, man.
I got
None of
one
y'all
more
want
year.
to become a college
Can't
coach?
you get 5 years?
5, yeah, you get 5. None of y'all wanted to become a college coach?
I did some college coaching
No.
at a community college, but I've been high school is more stressful enough for me.
I coached the Canadian national team for a while.
Yes,
And then I would have looked at some opportunities, but coaching's a funny business. They take coaches that they're basically recruiters that recruit for a good coach, right? A big name coach. And those are the guys that just go around getting jobs when they really don't have coaching experience. So for me, it was a hard thing to kind of get into, unless I wanted to be somebody's assistant for 10 years. And so it wasn't something I wanted to look at like that, you know?
Yeah.
Sean Van Dyke said, what about making players lock into a specific time period when committing to get the scholarship with this is interesting, with performance goals that must be met to keep the scholarship? Woo, that can get tricky. That's pretty interesting.
Really hard.
Well, now that they're paying salaries, it may come to that, you know.
Yeah,
Like you said.
Who can control that though? The coach.
Right. The coach.
It's
That's
back
what
to the
makes
coach.
that really slippery. I was just gonna say, took the words out of my mouth.
That's a slippery slope. That's a slippery slope. I like what you
Very
said,
slippery.
but you have to commit to a specific time. But that performance goals,
Yeah, I think the first part was right. I think you can lock people in, like Patino was talking about, 2-year contracts. You know, that locks the school into the player. I don't think there's anything wrong with
well,
that.
that's what the new rule is getting ready to be for 2027. I think they're going to lock you in for a year or 2. It might be just a year, at least a year, but at least is a year.
It's easy for me to say, but I would like to see it 2 years.
I just don't understand.
You like it to
Me
be
too, Tony. I would like
it to be 2.
at least
me
2.
too.
Yeah.
Just for the reality of getting a connection with players that you watch, you know.
Also, how about dealing with a little adversity, right? You get a little bit of adversity, you're out the door,
You're ready to go.
in a heartbeat. You're not really, that's not real life. You know, real life, you got to deal with some adversity.
Yeah,
Right.
But it's a different day and age, man, and it's the wild, wild west out there. And to be a parent, man, Jesus Christ, 'cause that's what my friends who are college coaches and assistant coaches, they're struggling with. They go into a house, and the kid is leading the whole conversation. The parents are not like saying nothing. It's the kid talking and making demands, and they like, you know, Bob, I'm a grown damn man. I have to listen to this kid talk about, you know, what he won't do and what he will do. And I look to his parents. So that's another heavy load on the parents too nowadays, because some of them don't know how to manage that either. You know?
Yeah. I don't think it's a lot of conversation though these days,
Bobby,
Bobby.
think about
How big the conversation now is? How big is the bag? You know,
That's all they're worried about.
You know what
Did you say, Herb?
That's exactly. How big is the bag?
You got to think about this. If this was happening back when we played, Georgetown and Syracuse wouldn't be what they are.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
We wouldn't have been.
Well, you're looking at it. Probably would have been a lot of the SEC schools because they had the big football money at those colleges. Up north, we didn't really have no football teams that had that type of money. You know.
Well, you wouldn't have the rivalries too. Like we had the rivalries because we played against each other the year in, year out, and you wanted to kill each other, right?
Back then.
So you wouldn't have that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And geographically, the fans
didn't have it back then.
What you say, Sonny?
Geographically, in the Big East, the fans could get to the games. You know, you could load up a car full of students, and they could get to Georgetown. They could get to Boston. They could get
Big
to
East is not the Big East anymore. It's not.
Yeah, now it's insane.
Yeah,
it's the Big East.
I think what made the original Big East so much fun and take off the way it did was, as players, we all knew each other from like high school tournaments, and like I knew guys in Boston, I knew guys in Washington, because we all seen each other like in all-star games and stuff like that. Or still read about or heard about it. You know, I knew about Big Mike. I knew about this guy. You know,
but you guys stayed home. You guys didn't go.
We stayed home.
So Tony, you bring us to the next crossroad. What do y'all think about AAU?
It has its good points and its bad. The thing that I liked about AAU was like the first AAU team that I started coaching was up in Albany, New York, and then they end up getting like Nike sponsorship and becoming big. But no coaches was going to like upstate New York to see no players. So you got some real good players in places that are not going to get any exposure unless they go to some of those tournaments. So, and that way it helped, but it started getting so big. You know how like at first you might have 2 practices a week. We were like bringing in guys from all over. Might have like an hour practice and then we're off the tournament. So you're not really developing. So in one way it's not great to develop you, but on the other hand, you know, the people that weren't getting exposure, we'd go to like some tournaments and just at practice, there'd be 150 coaches just sitting there and watch you practicing. So all it takes is one to like you to get a scholarship. So it helped on that end, but it didn't, you know, I think that's why a lot of the European players passed over some of us, because they put a lot more emphasis on fundamentals and developing their guys. You know, they had their big guys dribbling the ball and shooting jump shots way before that became a thing that we started doing, you know?
Yep. But, and look, you know why the AAU got so big? It started off like a guy would have an AAU team, right? And a man would bring his son and want to get on that best team, right? And the guy wouldn't give his son no play. So what the father would do would then start an AAU team of his own. And then it'll start all over. And then another guy would bring his kid and he wouldn't get no play. So everybody started this AAU team. I believe I like AAU team, but they just about playing ball. It doesn't seem like they develop players to me. That's the only kickback I have about AAU. Anybody else feel good about AAU?
Well, I think it has its purpose. You know, it's the reason now you can see kids, you know, 17, 18 years old and come out and play with men. You know, they get used to travel and playing people from different countries and different states at different levels of competition. They get accustomed to that and train for that all through high school and junior high school. And, you know, when you know, the good ones, you know, when they get to college, because you saw it in college last year, you saw so many freshmen getting 40 and 50 points on the same day. You know, the comfort level. You know, the kid Wagler that was at Illinois this year, you know, in the national championship game, and you'd have thought he had been in college for 4 or 5 years. But it's because he's played so much basketball. These kids have played so much basketball, you know, and, you know, it's not as structured as, say, playing on their high school team where, you know, the coach has a certain style that he wants to play and, you know, you got your role. No, in AAU, you go for what you know. You just play, you know. It's like, you know, pickup ball. You know, you just go and play. And he's developed these wonderful skills and this comfort level with being in different arenas, in front of people, under pressure, not under pressure. You know, that, you know, so AAU has its purpose. It's exposure for kids, but it's also training. It's more games. You know, they play, you know, you can play 100 games in the summer on an AAU team. They have double headers, you know, where they play one game in the morning, come back later in the evening. You know, you got a lot of in-between players that's 6'5", 6'6". They may be the tallest guy on their team, and they're playing against 6 feet guys, 6'3" guys. And, you know, they're taller than everybody else. But now you put them on an AAU team, they go play elite team. And next thing you know, they're going against a 6'7", 6'8", 6'9" front line. You don't get that just in high school every day, you know. So if you don't face that before you go to college, you're going to be shell-shocked when you go in there and the guards are your size. And then you got big guys, you know, like, you know, Billy and Big Mike and everything. You're like, oh, shit, I'm not really a big man. You know, so AAU does help take some of these players to another level before they got to face that college type competition.
Say it again.
Who's that?
Bobby and Mike.
Oh, okay. Well,
Bobby and Mike, I want to ask. Can I ask the Syracuse guys a question?
Sure can.
I just want. Yeah, man. Well, Sonny wasn't there, but Leo and Tony, why did y'all freeze the locker room on us?
Because it was Syracuse, damn it. It's cold.
It was cold in our locker room, too. That's the problem.
It snows in Syracuse from Halloween to Easter. It's always cold, man.
Hey, when we moved into the Carrier Dome.
Wait, this is true. Let Leo
tell you. Cap on and leather gloves.
Hey, we moved into the Carrier Dome.
I had on a skull cap, leather gloves. I had a big thick jacket on at halftime, sitting in the locker room. I came out to try to dribble the ball, and I couldn't, and I lost the ball because I couldn't feel my wrist. I know y'all did it on purpose.
Syracuse is cold. We gotta keep that bill down and Carrier Dome.
Tony, you remember this, and Sonny remember this. When we moved into the Carrier Dome, remember they came from Manly, and Manly was always sold out at around 10,000 people. And, and then they moved to the Dome, and you know what they were actually thinking? If you could get 13 to 14,000 people, it'd be good. Well, our senior year, our inter squad scrimmage, we had 27,000. Right?
Yeah.
So the crazy part, though, when we moved in there, they didn't know how to deal with the temperature. We were in practice, and they put these like radiant heaters around the court. We were still freezing. It was horrible.
Yeah.
Like playing in there was horrible. You guys, we weren't doing anything special, although we would have liked to. It was just cold.
Wait. They knew how, no, Leo, hold on. They knew how to deal with it. We had an athletic director who counted every penny. Okay. And he purposefully kept that temperature freezing. He counted on people to warm it up.
Who was that? Kyle? Is that Kyle?
There was a method to it. But it's true.
We had to play in that rubber bullshit too.
Top and bottom full sweats. We couldn't stand it because it was freezing.
This is
That's why they was always giving us sweatsuits.
You came to McDonald's, you were hot.
Look, this is what I remember. We normally flew to all games at Penn State. When we drove a bus because it was supposed to be a snowstorm, so they didn't want us to fly. So we rode a bus to Syracuse. I get there, they had the snow was like damn near up by the lamppost. And they said, it hadn't snowed in a week here. We left the sodas on the bus. We came back, the sodas were frozen. I don't know how y'all did it up at Syracuse. It was cold as hell up in that place.
You get used to it, man.
No,
the hardest part is going to class with all that snow.
I'm still mad about that.
Eric said he's still mad. All right, so look, this is a round robin. I'm going to start with Billy. Who was the best player you ever played against?
The best player? You mean in college?
Doesn't matter. Playground, college, high school, pros. Who's the best player you ever played against?
Well, in high school, it would probably be Earl Jones.
Spin-gone high school, Lakers, Los Angeles Lakers.
Yeah, Earl was amazing. Earl was amazing.
He was a beast.
In college, it would probably be the first national championship we played in against North Carolina. He put me in. I had to guard James Worthy. James was, the MVP that game. He was torching everybody. I got dunked on twice, and I think he blocked my shot. And I only played a few minutes, but James was probably, James or Chris Mullin, I would say. James
Chris Mullin?
Chris Mullin.
Yeah.
Leo.
Chris Mullin, was a nightmare to try to guard because he was so crafty, and no matter what you did, he'd find some way to, bump him, hit him, grab him, and
put the ball right there.
Chris was amazing. Chris doesn't get enough credit for how good he was, but he was terrific. And then in the NBA, it was probably I could say any number of guys, but I got to guard Larry Bird. I think it was like his second or third straight MVP season when he was torching everybody in the league. And it's just, at that time, there was nothing you could do against him. They put me on him because, they thought I was athletic and, maybe I'd wear him down and, then they put one of the stars on later, but I'd say Larry was probably at that time the toughest guy. But, I didn't get to, guard, some, Jordan or Magic. or some of the other guys that were great. But I did get a chance to guard Bird, and it was a mistake putting me on him.
What about you, Leo?
Nobody could guard him.
What about you, Leo?
Well, I was playing for Canada, and then we played the United States. As a high school kid, I was playing, and we played. It was when Isaiah Thomas, and Ralph Sampson were put on the U.S. team coming out of high school, and Isaiah Thomas was the best high school kid I ever saw. It was like Isaiah was crazy. As far as any other player, was Michael. Michael to me was that guy was just crazy. I could watch him night and day, and I think he's the greatest player ever lived. People can argue it any way you want, but Michael was just a monster. So I'll never go against him after what I saw him do. You know.
What about you, Sonny?
All right. Well, if I follow Bill's routine, all right. My high school was probably, we played against Ed Pinckney at the state level, and he was ridiculous. Okay, college, I should say Michael, but Michael was limited by Dean Smith. So the best player that I saw on the floor when we played was a guy by the name of Wayman Tisdale out of Oklahoma.
Wayman was a beast.
He was unstoppable. And then in the pros, well, I missed that time, but we're good with that. That's me. I should say Chuck Everson, actually, from Villanova. That was the toughest guy I played against. Wow. No. Anyway, those are my guys, but I could name a bunch more.
What about you, Tony?
I'd have to say for high school would probably be Rodney McCray, Scooter's brother.
Oh yeah,
wow. They both ended up going to Louisville. I'd say while I was at Syracuse, the toughest person that I ever had to guard, because I still think about him today, how strong he was Mark Aguirre. I mean, he posted me up a few times. I couldn't believe I couldn't freaking move. I couldn't even half run him, man. The dude's like one of the strongest dudes I've ever played against. And I guess AAU wise, even though we beat Sidney Lowe and that team for the championship of the AAU in '79, we played Byron Scott's team, and he probably was the hardest dude I ever checked. I couldn't believe no matter how far I picked up on him, he just started shooting further and further out. I mean, I literally had to pick him up at half court. I never seen nobody shoot like that guy. And I didn't even, I had never heard of him before. He was about 6'5", 6'6". I thought he was like a wingman or something like this. This dude could shoot from anywhere. And he's probably the next toughest I could remember. So
what about you, Eric?
They just stick out.
Well, you're gonna think this is crazy, but I'm with Tony. I played against Scooter in the high school our senior year out in Phoenix. Played against Scooter out there for high school, but undoubtedly the best player I ever played against was Mark Aguirre.
Wow.
Yeah.
I had to cover that big rascal. That man could, I mean, like Tony said, he could back you up in there and shoot that fade away, and there's nothing you can do about it.
His hands are so big you can't even see the basketball when he has it. He puts his arm down and got the ball behind him somewhere you can't even see the ball, man. Wow. Dude was incredible.
Okay. I held him to 24, Tony. I held him to 24.
You know, it's interesting.
I held him to 24.
And Tony also say Mark Aguirre because.
Well, gentlemen.
Yeah, hold on, right quick, Mike. Right quick. I just want to
go ahead.
But another guy was Albert King. Don't forget Albert King though.
Oh, yeah, I was good.
Oh yeah.
Albert King.
Oh yeah.
But he wasn't like his brother Bernard.
No.
We talked about him. Yeah. He was a beast.
No.
Yeah. Albert was bad.
My player was Adrian Dantley, man. And it's interesting. Mark Aguirre, people don't know the rub. Mark Aguirre, remember, they would have won that championship with Adrian Dantley. But
that's right. They did that straight with those two. Yeah.
Isaiah got Dantley off that team, and Mark Aguirre ended up replacing Dantley, and I never felt good about that. But anyway, that's a story for another day. But Mike, go ahead on my back.
Yeah.
No. What's the question again? The best player I played against?
Yeah.
High school, it wasn't none. College, Hakeem Olajuwon.
Ooh.
And the NBA, Xavier McDaniel.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah. He was tough.
He was tough.
Yeah,
yeah, he was tough.
He's one of the first ball head guys.
Mm-hmm.
So, Mike, ask them the question, our favorite show question, how we end the show. Ask the question.
No, I forgot that question. I'm sitting up here tearing up these pistachios.
I know, it's acting like you hungry than a runaway slave up in that mug. But anyway, this is Mike's our question, right?
He was a beast.
What would you tell your
younger
self?
Mm-hmm.
Mike, what would you tell your younger self today? Something that you probably should have told yourself, that you would tell yourself today. That's the question. What would you tell your younger self back then?
Right.
Today.
If you were to play it today, what would you tell a younger self? A younger person?
Your younger self. Start again with Billy.
Oh, you starting with me?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I want to tell my younger self something.
What would you tell them today, yourself back then, today?
Like telling your son. Say you got a son. He's going through the ropes up to playing basketball, AAU, college. What would you tell him from your experiences?
Okay. Well, it has to be basketball related because if I could talk to my younger self,
yes,
I would tell my younger self to go to grad school and get a law degree or a master's degree because the basketball thing didn't last very long and it wasn't as lucrative back then as it is today. The little bit of money I made, the little time I played in the NBA and the overseas, I think about, if I had, gone and gotten a, law degree and be 25, 30 years into practicing law or business, where I'd be versus, my short career. So yeah, as a young man, I would advise myself to, pursue an advanced degree or a law degree or a business degree. Yeah, that would be
Sonny, on you, Sonny.
Good deal, Bill.
Ooh, what I would have told myself, my advice to the younger me would have been, you got to work harder and stop bitching about things and put more time into the craft. That's what I would tell myself.
And Sonny, that was mine. Hey, Eric, on you, Bo.
I would have told my younger self to, in the lines with Billy, I would have told myself to study harder in school when I was at Georgetown, put more effort into it, even though it was tough with all the practice and all that stuff. But it would have been definitely took care of your grades much better and dunk on Tony one time.
Yeah. Oh, good. Leo.
I don't think you heard that.
And I think you try to ignore your behind.
Did Tony hear that? Tony, you hear that?
I didn't hear that one.
Oh, you're right, Eric. He didn't hear. He said when he was
told my
his
younger self to dunk on you one time.
Okay.
Hey, Leo, what about you? What would you tell your younger self today?
Well, I kind of tell young players, you know what? Have fun, man, because this stuff's going to be over quicker than you realize. And don't get wrapped up into, bitching, talking about this, or he said that, or why are they talking? Who cares? Play the game. Have fun. Play the game. You're playing a kid's game. You're having a great time. You could be as good as you want to be. Don't get caught up in anything. Don't get caught up in what the coach is thinking. I don't know what the coach is thinking. Nobody knows what the coach is thinking. Who cares? Play.
Right.
And I think players, we all, at least in my opinion, we all get caught up in the stuff, right? We get caught up in who's saying what, who's talking about who cares? Just play the game because, like I said, when it's over, it's over. And if you can go back and do it again, I guarantee you wouldn't do that because you realize how lucky we were to play. So I just say, just have fun, man. Enjoy every minute of it because when it's over, it's over.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
That's good stuff. I mean, it goes so fast. I mean, I would have to say, man, if I was speaking to my son or mentoring a younger kid or something like that, when you go to college, you have to find a way to put the fast cars and bars and drinking and drugging and partying and all the college life stuff. You got to put that to the side and work on your craft, make the connections that you're going to need to be successful at first, because this stuff goes so fast, man. It's not a game. You get 15 minutes of fame and you got to make the most of it while you got it, and do what you need to do to be successful, because it's always going to be on to the next best thing. And, all of that stuff is superficial. You think it's real. You think you don't have to be at every party. You don't have to be the life of the party all of the time. You gotta put the time into your craft, while you have the ability to do that. And a lot of times, when I mentor the kids now, I'm telling you, I'm not giving you information that I've read out of a book. I'm giving you information that I've lived, man. I've done this. I'm telling you, it's going to go so quick. This life that you think that you're having right now, you're going to wake up and be 40, 50, and 60, and you don't even going to know where it went, Some people might listen and some is going to go in one ear and out the other.
That's it. I'm that person because I'll be 63 this year, and I can't even jump off a sidewalk. So,
I hear you, Mike. It hurts my knee to look at my old pictures dunking. It hurts my knee just to look at the pictures, let alone do it,
But Tony,
right.
Point is well taken. All the partying, the women, the drugs, the fun. And all I say to that is, Tony, because you know what? You're right. I did all that. But it made me the man I am today. No, I'm just kidding. So anyway.
Yeah, well, I ain't the man you are today, right?
Okay. Well, gentlemen, this has been incredible. Thank you for the honesty, the stories, and the legacy. This rivalry built the Big East, and you all built the rivalry. Thank you all. Thank you for coming on. All right.
Thank you for keeping the rivalry going. And by the way,
all right, man. Love you too, man.
Much respect to the Warrior brothers.
Good to see y'all, man.
All right.
Go out there and get the other side of the hoop. The
Good to see
European
you.
story by Bobby Kennedy.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you all,
All
man.
right. Thanks for having me, Big Mike. Love you, man.
See you,
Love
Bill.
y'all too, man.
Good. Mike.
Stay right.
That's a wrap
talk
on
with
this
you guys.
episode of the Michael Graham Show. Big thanks to our guests, and bigger thanks to you for listening. If it hit home, share it. If it made you think, talk about it. Because change starts with conversation. Catch Michael next time. Same truth, same energy, same mission. Till then, stay loud, stay real, and stay connected.